Moto already being laggy. Not even got in the first match. My favoritist. My favoritist. Stream starting pretty late today because the servers weren't supposed to come up till 3 Eastern, and I was doing other things because of that, yet they come up like 90 minutes early or something. What's up, Dan? What's up, James? I may have to leave before the stream's over. I probably have to leave about 5 or 5:15 if I'm even going to consider going to Magic tonight, which that might not even give me enough time. I still have to sleeve a deck and hunt cards. So, probably won't get to go, but going to try. Which means I'll probably try to play a little faster and looser than usual. Fast and loose, friends. Opponent led with a turn one. Well, thank you. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Lead with the nice turn one scavenging grounds. I haven't read the Ixalan cards, so. Oh shit, man, are you okay? Oh, so this is ramp. We're just screwed. Have no chance to beat ramp, especially when they get a good draw. Are you fine? Is everything okay? Sucks, man. How'd it happen as well? I feel like I have to counterspell that. But like, what's counterspelling it do? He could just like untap and have a better ramp spell. Maybe if we get a draw too. I'm glad you're okay. Was anybody in the vehicle with you? And if so, are they also okay? Alright, well, I guess this card isn't terrible. We can get the Wirewood, but. Not good, man. An untapped land, and he would have been able to cast World Breakers, so. Well, I'm glad you're okay at least. He hits land. That's bad for us. And now he can resolve practically any spell and just win the game. There's literally nothing we can do about it. If he doesn't have an Ulamog, we can still win. Maybe we can't. I don't know. It's at 10 mana. Even if he's got just a World Breaker, he can go get the Ulamog, and any land beats us. This match is what they call not really winnable. Oh no, we are if they have anything. They could have, I guess, like no Eldrazi in their hand and we'd be fine. The odds of them having no Eldrazi are probably next to none, though. Probably can't beat a Chandra as well. Oh, there's one Chandra. That wasn't the Chandra that I was saying we can't beat, but it's obviously a Chandra we're not particularly happy about. They may not have Ulamog. They get 2 draws a turn to find it, though. Oh. If they can't kill a land, we always have top deck outs. If they kill 2 lands, we can pretty much scoop. There's our promise. That doesn't hurt us. And they chose not to cast it, so. Means they obviously have an Eldrazi. Let's hope it's a 7-cast Eldrazi and not a bigger one. Well, looks like it's Ulamog. And that's game, folks. We'll bring in all of these top thingies. Get rid of those. Don't really need all of these. Don't really need all of these. Bring in some of these. Bring in some of those. And just hope. We are currently 0-1 playing versus one of our 2 worst matches. Yeah, I brought in a couple Descends over a couple Fumigates. I still leave a couple Fumigates in case they have, like, Tireless Tracker and Fault Not Seer or Reality Smasher or, you know. So I leave in some removal. None of them are particularly good, but like my Blessed Alliances aren't great, my Sweepers aren't great, my Cats aren't great. You pretty well just tuck your tail between your legs and hope. It doesn't really matter what you really bring in. Just bring in your blue cards and hope. It stands pretty bad. We have 2 lands, we have no cyclers, we have no counter spells we can use. This hand's unfortunately considerably better. And this hand's pretty bad, as you can see. We had 4 blue spells and 2 white lands, yet this hand was better than our first hand. We had a bunch of spells in our first hand, but none of them did anything except for the Supreme Will, and we would have had to use that Supreme Will to find the land. Just not enough cards for us to take out. Counterspell literally anything he plays that says the word produce land. It also would counterspell like a Tireless Tracker. I saw a list yesterday playing Renewed Faith. I kind of want to test it, but I've not got around to it yet. Drawing the 4th land's a pretty nice hit here. Unfortunately, we have to counterspell that too. Not going to cycle the Censor because the Censor can still hit an hour, and hitting an hour is still relevant. Hitting an hour is considerably less relevant now, so it's fine to cycle to Censor now. We missed a land drop though. As soon as we missed a land drop, the game's practically over. I mean, obviously there's game states where like they never draw an Eldrazi or whatever, and you can still win. But your way to beat them is just hit lands 1 through 8 and pray to God. And we didn't hit lands 1 through 8, so no matter what, as long as he makes his land drops, we can't win now. Nothing we can do. In an ideal world, we're tapping out and casting Approach on this turn, but like, we don't even get to do that with this draw. It's just a miserable bad matchup to start the day. You pretty well want to play when you play this deck. The two matches you don't want to play versus is you don't want to play versus Ramp, and you don't want to play versus you don't want to play versus Champion of the Wit decks. I kind of like Renewed Fate, but I really like the Effort Meltdowns. Like, we've tried the deck without them. We just never had any fun. Well, how lucky do we want to try to get? Alright. The opponent has double Sanctum of Ugin, so like the match is really already over. There's nothing we can do. Nothing we can do when they already have that. Maybe there's some miracle world where we can like draw Summary Dismissal into a Gear Hulk, but it's just not something that's likely to happen. There's only one Summary Dismissal even in the deck. And the issue is, they can just kill our lands practically an infinite amount of times here. Like, we can deal with the Eldrazi themselves, that's not the issue. The issue is the infinite amount of lands that they're going to kill. Like, we probably should have Descent that turn, but I think it was a pretty big play mistake that I didn't cast Descend, but like, I'm mentally checked out of this game because we just don't have an answer. We basically have to hit exactly a Summary Dismissal or we concede. Like, killing the board and then letting him play that doesn't win the game either. It just like stalls the game. If we get one more draw step, but we're just as in the baddest situation because we have to tap out and use the cast out on this, but like, he got another trigger off that, which is just going to find another Ulamog, and then he's going to untap and kill 2 more lands. So like, we're going to lose 4 lands, and there's no window to ever play a Summary Dismissal except for exactly that turn, which we didn't have. I guess I'll throw up the deck list while we wait. Yep, don't beat Ulamog with this deck. Ricky claims you do, but as we've stated earlier, Ricky's an idiot. We'll go ahead and play first. Sand's fine. There's nothing spectacular about it, but it's going to be good versus a number of decks. Could have got the white man on, or could have got the blue man online so that we could have tried to censor their turn 2 play, but there's no turn 2 plays I really care about except from the red deck, and having the authority of the council is better versus the red deck. Oh look, it's a Choked Estuary, so it's probably a Champion of the Wits deck of some kind. Our other bad match. We have exactly 2 bad matches in the entire format. I guess that's talking in hyperbole because like there's some oh, well, I guess it's not a bad match. It's a fine match. Anyway, that was talking in hyperbole anyway because like they are some other bad matches like Temur Tower and stuff is bad, but I'm talking about out of popularly played decks. So we're a pretty big favorite in this match, but like they have negates post board which help a lot, and if we don't draw our rafts, we just lose. Just can't win without a raft. Don't even have a 4th land. Don't think there's any real reason to keep that card. Have a counter spell for a lord. Or we get to cycle again. Either or. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. I pressed the wrong button and it's probably going to kill us. I was lagging and I did not even see the spell on the stack. Well, that's friggin' horrible. It's actually kind of annoying too. We went from what would have potentially been an easy game to win to what could still potentially be an easy game to win, but I have to get a lot luckier now. So that misclick is going to cost us a minimum of 6 points of damage. Don't really want either of these. Minimum of 6 points of damage. Well, we wish we had the land back now. I think we would have won fairly easy had we been at the 16 life we were supposed to be at. I'm not getting the Relentless Dead back, so I guess they have a Liliana's Mastery that they're going to play. Not a Liliana's Mastery. Odd. Odd AF fam. I guess I kind of want the land. Odd AF fam. Again, we should be at 16 life right now, but I made a misclick. Happens. Not the end of the world. The problem is they can just kill that card, right? And like you're having to take time off to do it. You're tapping that on 4, which means they can resolve any Fault Not Seer, or they can resolve, if they're on the play, they can resolve Hours of Promise. Like you still have to win with a 7-mana sorcery into a 7-mana sorcery, and they ramp faster than you, so like they have time to kill that and then kill lands. So if we draw an untapped land, we're probably a fairly large favorite to win. If we don't draw an untapped land, I'm not sure what'll happen. I'll tell you one thing that'll happen. We will be sad. But we need to land. We should still be at 16 though, so like we should have won pretty easily, as I said, but sometimes I play bad. We can hit a Blessing Alliance off of this, or an Effer Meltdown and be fine. Can't think of many other cards that let us win. Maybe a Fumigate on the following turn. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Prevents 3 points of damage, and it messes up his following turn a little. Alright, well, he didn't have nothing, so I guess it was still fine. So even with a massive misclick, unless he has a negate, we're going to get there. Still has 3 cards in his hand. I don't think they would all be grasps and fatal pushes, though. If it is a fatal push, we're in trouble. Or sorry, if it is a negate, we're in trouble. I misspoke. If this were a tournament setting, I'd probably just tell them to show me the negate and I would concede. Ramp's not unbeatable. Like, if I added another couple of hard counter spells, it'd probably be a different match. Which we may. Oh, I was lagging. I'm lagging real bad today, and it's causing multiple problems already. Anyway, versus Zombros, we like all of our white sideboard cards. All of our bigger white sideboard cards, I'll rephrase. We can cut out a couple of the card draw spells. Supreme Wills aren't as good on the draw as they are on the play. And I typically take out some number of authorities and some number of Approach the Sun. I usually bring in the blue Gearhulks as well, but I think I'm going to just leave the Approach the Suns in the deck. Nah, we'll bring in a blue Gearhulk. I'll bring in both blue Gearhulks. They probably have negates in this build, so I think both blue Gearhulks are better than like trying to resolve an approach. This hand's pretty miserable. It's another game where we're gonna mulligan because we don't have lands. So all 4 games so far we played this tournament have been kind of like land-light, terrible hands. Alright, well this hand's keepable, but it's certainly not good. We've won one of those 4 games. But yeah, so far all 4 games today have just been land-light, terrible draws. Which is this deck's true biggest weakness. Our opponent's name is La Bamba. Love to get my cell phone so I can look and see who does the following type things. 3 days in a row that we've had a subscriber. That's pretty sweet, obviously. Uh-oh, Relentless Dad. That's what happens when real threats come to play. I've not kept overall stats with the red deck. I'm like 180 matches in, where I'm mostly streaming right now. I don't want to keep. I don't want to keep bringing up a spreadsheet in the middle of the stream and updating it. It's probably something I should do, but I haven't been doing. And no, over the last 2 days, we had a 3-2 and then a 2-3. We've been getting paired versus a lot more off the wall decks. Like today, we've already been paired versus Ramp. Yesterday, we got paired versus Teamer Tower, a Reanimator deck. And we actually dropped the game to red deck wins. Things that the deck doesn't typically do, but did yesterday. It's just part of it. Even when you're a favorite in games, you don't always win the game. I only play one league a day on stream, but I play Magic a lot. I play a lot of Magic off stream as well. But I also like to. The reason I only do one a day on stream is because I also like to watch certain streamers myself. So like when like a Michael Jacobs online or whatever, like I'll always have his stream up, but like I'm probably just going to be watching, or I'm going to be playing as well. So like I can't stream myself watching another person stream, things like that. Or like when my League of Legends friends are online and like we're talking in Skype and stuff like that. Like I'm typically playing Magic, but like I don't stream. But I only stream once a day on streams. This is like the 15th day on stream, the 15th league on stream or something like that. It's kind of interesting. Could just take the Liliana's Mastery. I don't think I will though. I think I'll just go ahead and grab the Relentless Dad and prevent 3 damage this turn and play the Regal next turn, hoping to block all 3 things into a Descent would be the plan. I think this is the 15th day on stream with this deck anyway. I've been streaming for almost 2 months, but played a lot of Mono Red, a lot of Pummeler, played a little bit of Teamer. We've tried Blue Red once. We've tried a number of different decks. Probably tried everything but zombies. We've played Ramp. We never did play zombies. I refused to pay $26 for Kalitas, and at the time the zombies deck had 3 Kalitases in them. And I was just like, no. Not now, not never gonna happen. My eye's tearing up pretty bad today. Feels like there's something kind of in it. Rip. Snap block block. Not really a fan. doesn't really do what I want to do with this deck. Like, I don't view this deck as a control deck. I view this deck more as a turbo fog type deck. Yeah, that ain't good. Did you have to go to the doctor or anything? Well, that's not good for us. But that is good for us. Think it's worth just going ahead and killing that thing and gaining upon a life? Makes it a little harder for him to kill us with the West Veil. Ever Meltdown's actually kind of a good card here. Well, I don't want either of these really. Really just want lands and spells that are usable when I play them. He did not make a West Veil token. Daniel is certainly tougher than no Ray. Ray would scream like a little baby. They almost assuredly drew the Sunken Hollows this turn, I guess? It's kind of odd. Skyboat. I think Skyboat's a magic card. That's a magic card as well. Go ahead and cycle this and see what kind of information we got. Well, that one doesn't do anything good for us. Hey, there's an approach. So our opponent's going to get 2 more attack steps. Maybe more if he draws like a Transgressor or Lost Legacy or something, but like 2 more attack steps that we know about. Because this following turn we can Rivulet ourselves and then we can Transgress ourselves. The opponent missed 2 points of damage. Don't know why opponent decided to miss 2 points of damage. Anyway, this is his last attack step. If he doesn't draw a negate or a discard spell or something, obviously. I drove the car home with no wind chill. So we should be at 8. I'm not sure why opponent didn't attack. Well, I guess we go for it. Yes, mill ourselves. You pressed F6, it feels like. And I guess we'll keep both. Oh, he's done. Never mind. I guess we don't have to keep both. Alright, well there's zombies. For anybody new in here, you can type !decklist in chat. You can also go down to the description and find my Twitter link, and every time you're on my Twitter, or every time I go live and all the deck lists I play are on the Twitter. On the Twitter there's also a link to the YouTube. And on top of that, for the YouTube viewers, in the description down below is the deck list, the links to the Twitter, and the link to the Twitch. And for the subscribers, don't forget, we've got our nice Sears of Strip going on. Medium hand, but it's fine to keep. We got a few things to cycle. And if we're playing versus certain decks, that card does some work. Probably Teamer. Hopefully it's Teamer Energy, though admittedly we don't have lands right now, so if it's Teamer Energy, that may not be great for us. They play Chandler Initiate, that means they're typically on Elder Deep Fiend, and Elder Deep Fiend's pretty good versus our deck, considering we need multiple 7-mana sorceries to win the game. Either way, though, we have a few reasonable cards in our hand. We'll have to see how it goes. 40s are fine in this match. They stop Glorybringers from going crazy, and they also stop Big Chandra's post board, but I've not been leaving Domain post board. I noticed Ritzel did at the Grand Prix, and it's something I should consider, but haven't done it yet. I really just don't know what to take out that's worse is really the problem with it. Well, can't counterspell it, so I guess it resolves. We'll go ahead and always yield to that to save the time. We're going to cycle the Censor first. If we miss the land drop, we'll also cycle the Illumination. Alright, we'll cycle the Illumination as well. Not going to cycle the Cast Out, even though I guess I technically could. It's too high of a chance that he's just going to resolve like a Chandra or something. One of this deck's biggest weaknesses is Planeswalkers. Or very diverse threats. Like, if you're just beating me with creatures, it's not that big of a deal. It's when you're beating me with, it's when you're beating me with, oh wow. Sorry, I got distracted. I was looking at the picture that Daniel sent me of his car wreck. Wow, man. You're lucky that you didn't get hurt. You're real lucky. That's it's pretty savage. Man, I am super glad you didn't get hurt. So we have a Cast Out, and we have a Blessed Alliance. So there's a good chance that we can get the Skyship one or the two ways. Wow. Do you mind if I share this picture, Daniel, to, I guess to the stream? But I more was going to ask about sending it to Sean. Yeah. So if he attacks with both, we Cast Out it. If he attacks with just the one, we don't. Or if he attacked with just the one, we Blessed Alliance it. Oh, Sean's already saw it? Alright, never mind then. Yeah, it's not a good wreck, man. What's the opponent playing this time? Just attacking with the Lumbering Falls again? That's fine. We'll Blessed Alliance and he'll kill that one. Still above 20. And he can resolve whatever he wants this turn. Hey Gunner, did you see Daniel's car wreck? Yeah, he's in chat. He's fine. He said he was fine. Just fucked up his car pretty good. Go ahead and gain our 2 life here. So we know to approach 6 cards down. This is going to be 4 cards. So it's 5. So 2 more draw steps and we win. Providing he doesn't have counter spells in his main deck or Elder Deep Fiends, which are 2 things that we highly suspect that he has. It's a pretty bad wreck. I shipped you the picture if you care at all. Or if you want to look at it. We'll put the farmland on the bottom. We'll put the approach on top. Oh. Yeah, well. Even if he has a negate, we have some outs then. Oh, I pulled up for the chat too then, since the chat's asking. I have to go to my Facebook. I'm sorry. Alright, well I clicked the pit, or I clicked it, it's just not opening. Oh, there it is. I see why it's opening now. Sorry, it opened down here. I think this link will work for the chat. And I'll pop up the picture for the people on YouTube who can't click the link, obviously. But yeah, this is a local and a guy watching in chat. He done this to his car today. Fortunately for him, he's okay though. And I assume he's just got an Elder Deep Fiend? About has to have an Elder Deep Fiend? Alright, well he didn't have an Elder Deep Fiend. He knew we were drawing the approach though, so... Yeah, it works, but I want to pop up the picture too because this is also going to YouTube, so... They couldn't necessarily just click on the, He said he hit a tree. A tree had fallen in the road. We live in a very kind of like mountainous areas with like a lot of narrow roads and like a lot of curves and stuff like that. So it's still that doesn't make it any less horrible. I was just trying to, I don't know. I was talking to hear myself, I guess. I like to hear myself. Hope people like to hear me too. But yeah, I guess I'll let Daniel answer his own questions. Sorry about that. Got a couple of those and a couple of these, and we're just going to submit. I don't think I want the Gearhulks anymore, but... Nah. Alright, Gearhulks it is. I'm going to try 1 Gearhulk. Oh, while we're on the subject, by the way, Gunner, are you playing Magic tonight? So a mulligan. I will keep. Hands, again, not good. For a while? So you're not going to be here Friday either? Probably won't cycle to cast out, but I'm playing the planes just in case. You gotta come in Friday. Friday is Christian's return to Magic. Can't miss Christian. Can't miss the big Sea Dog. So me and our opponent are both doing nothing. Oh, Ricky's playing Friday? I didn't know. Does he get to play every Friday, or is this going to be like a one-off? Yeah, well, of course. We know you have bills to pay. You're the scum of the earth. You have to have bills to pay. For just this Friday or for all Fridays, Corey? So he could easily just be glory bringing or big chandering, either one. I'm not that worried about with our particular hand. Oh my. So you got out of doing the football games? Or are you doing that in addition to the football games? Do you guys have two vehicles, Daniel, or just the one? That's a good card. He doesn't get any nights off? Okay, I'm just gonna cast Fumigate. Oh man, that's horrible. Ming. He does now. Alright, fair. Well, hopefully our opponent doesn't have two negates. That's the most common way we lose this match. Probably will cycle to cast out if there's not a Chandra this turn. Opponent's drawn a lot of lands this game. Alright, Glorybringer. Is he going to exert? Alright, didn't exert. Ended up not casting the cast out because of when he played the Glorybringer, we knew we were casting Fumigate on the following turn regardless. If he's got a second negate in his top 15 cards, we probably lose. Just can't do anything about that, really. That's 14 damage. If he draws another Glorybringer, it's the full 20. So it looks like we have one draw step to try to find another, unless my math's bad. My math could be bad. I could just be dead for all I know. Alright, my math was not bad. I was right. So we have one draw step and one cycle to find another. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. Alright, next game. Yeah, when they have two negates in their top 15-ish cards, you typically lose. Like I said, that's the most common way to lose this match is them having double negate. You don't lose too many games when they don't have double negate. I'm just going to resubmit. I think. Hey, Booted. What's up, man? Kind of actually want to try a couple of these, actually. I don't think you have to have it on turn 1, so I'm not going to bring in the full 4. I think you just need it to, you need it by turn 5 and 6. Okay, this hand's fine. This hand's much better than the other hands we've had so far. Go ahead and cycle so I can press F6. How you been doing, man? They have another Attune. Would probably let them have, probably not, probably will counter any 2-drop they play. Yeah, I actually don't like Standard right now a whole lot. A lot of people do. I'm having a ball with this deck, but this deck isn't a deck that can top 8 a Grand Prix. This deck's like a deck that can 11 and 4 a Grand Prix. So, if you want to win, I wouldn't play this deck. This deck's incredibly fun, though. If you just want to have a good time, I have a fun every time I play this deck. I have a fun every time I play this deck. That's what I don't like. I don't really like rock paper scissors. I feel like no matter what deck I play, I've made a bad choice when I play rock paper scissors. We'll put the land on the bottom. We'll put the approach on top. We'll probably find another land in the top 3-ish cards or whatever. And well, we found the other land, so now it's just trying to stay alive till we can resolve 2 approaches. I'm going to go ahead and use the Blessed Alliance on this turn. It's not like it really gets better versus them. Whoops. Escalate 2. They can untap and play a Chandra, which is obviously terrible, but let's be honest, we can't stop them from resolving a Chandra anyway, so there's no chance they play around it. This Rock Lobster. What deck would I play to win a Grand Prix? That's such a hard choice. Because I just want to answer none. I really just want to say none. I think the best decks in the format are Red Deck Wins, Zombies, and Teamer. So I'd pick one of those 3 decks, and I think you can practically pick them at random. I think the Teamer gives you a little bit more sideboarding options. I think Zombies is a little more consistent, and I think Red is the most powerful deck arbitrarily, but everybody in the room's trying to beat you when you play the Red deck. I don't like the entire room trying to beat me. Yet the fact that 3 of them still top 8 at the last Grand Prix proved that even if the entire room's trying to beat you, the deck is still very playable. Alright, well, we're just going to resolve the first one of these. And then maybe he'll tap out or something, thinking that he's safe. Does get to make a whole lot of Thopters now, though. So 7 cards down. There's some percentage chance that he just like taps a lot of mana right now. Well, that's a good one for him. It's actually a really good one because now he can also pay for the Censor. If he'd had to cast a Bristling Hydra or something, he wouldn't be able to pay for the Censor that turn. Running Fumigates is pretty nice, though. Don't have to try to cast to approach this turn. He most likely has a Censor. Or he most likely has a negate. Even if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Still at 30 life. We'll try to counterspell most things he plays. Especially if there's any chance it shuts him off a land, like a Glorybringer, for example. That one doesn't really help us. If he tries to resolve anything else this turn. Alright. Well, we're just going to tap and try to cast another Fumigate. So that's 2 draw steps. There's somebody ringing my doorbell, so I apologize for the noise. Mono Red's not a bad deck, that's for sure. I think it's safe to finally cycle this thing. We're just not going to get any value out of it. Man, there is so much noise outside. Go ahead and play this thing. It makes them react to it. And then we're just going to start casting approaches no matter what for the following turns. So we got another card out of their hand. Still at 31 life and we still have a Blessed Alliance, so there's a good chance that one of these approaches will resolve. But we had so much life that we could afford to be patient. Still at 35 here, and if he counterspells it, that's great. Still have double blockers for the Hydra. Still have a Blessed Alliance for the Hydra. Alright, well he just didn't have a counterspell. But it's still right to play like that, I think. Anyway, onward to the next match. As I try to say between every match, because advertising is key. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can type !decklist to see the deck list. You can also look in the description down below to find my Twitter to see a log of every deck list I've ever played, and you can see every time I go live. And if you're in the YouTube chat, you can look in the description below to see all of the same information. Thank you for following Fabrique LOL and Wesley Fradic Doa 12 something. I apologize for butchering your name. Anyway, we made no deck list changes from today as from yesterday. Still just rocking the same deck list. Found an opponent. We won the dice roll. We're playing versus Sir Rising. This hand's keepable. We have an authority to the consoles. We have a couple of Stolly type cards, and then we have a draw two. He's playing mono red. This hand's pretty solid. He's playing versus Teamers. This hand's fine. Playing versus black green. This hand's fine. Just in general, this hand's fine versus basically everything but basic island deck. She got a swamp. Fumigate's a nice pickup versus the black-green type decks. Can't stop a Nissa, but this deck typically doesn't care if a Nissa resolves because it's so slow. Cares sometimes. But we're not going to be able to stop that, and he's going to be able to gain quite a large amount of cards off of it and some energy, but that's fine. There is people running back and forth in my home. I don't know what I'm going to try today. I'm in a combo-y mood, but like Nothing's jumping out at me. I was thinking about gifts, but I really don't want to look for the cards for gifts. They can have that. We know they have a land in their hand. And they didn't play it. So pretty much just keeping lands, approaches, and draw twos here. Alright, we'll keep that land. We'll throw that land to the bottom for now. We drew the second Fumigate, so we're just going to go ahead and cast this Fumigate and make him not draw 2 cards, which is fine. There's some percentage chance that he just like throws a couple of good spells out on the board. Again, we don't really care if it's Nissa. Nissa's probably the best card he can play for us. Don't care too much about it being a walking ballista either. When we draw to approach this quickly, we automatically wish we'd kept that other land, but the time we didn't know the approach was on top of our deck, and we have to find gas somewhere, right? Yeah, it's a sneaky snake. We have another Fumigate, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and press F6. Could have canceled that land off last turn. He could pump it up 2 right now, but so he's got something better to do with his mana, I guess. He's got something better to do with his mana. We get more value off the Fumigate, which is fine. Back to 30. Probably not going to cycle this Hieroglyph. I guess we're not back to 30. I keep forgetting that they can do that. Back to 27. I will rephrase. If he puts something super threatening out there, we may draw one. Oh, well, that's not threatening at all. So we know an approach is in our 7th card down. We don't care about the Nissa at all. It just gains us life. Go ahead and mill ourselves 4 irrelevant cards. Draw to approach. But we're looking for a land drop. Oh, okay, opponent's done. And we would hit the land and the approach, so if they didn't have a discard spell, we were good. Alright, now sideboarding versus the green decks are a little bit more trickier because they can also have Lost Legacy. As much as work as the approach did in that match, it's just not good overall. All of like these cards are fine versus them. A couple of the slower counter spells is what I typically always sideboard out. I like to leave all 4 sensors in on the play, or sorry, on the draw, because I'm that afraid of them just having a snake. We have to bring in the creatures, even though they're not particularly wonderful in this match, but all the black decks can just have Lost Legacy, and Lost Legacy is just a threat. Just something that has to be respected. This hand's, it's okay. We have a Blessing Alliance, but like it's not great. We have an approach already. So any turn 2 play he plays, the Blessed Alliance can kill, which is not nothing, but it's not great. Play an arbitrary land. Which unless we draw another land, and we don't really want to draw another land, but unless we drew another land, it would kind of like keep us off the Blessed Alliance for a turn. Or sorry, keep us off the Glimmer for a turn. If we want to play the cat on 5, that is. It's not a guarantee that we even want to play the cat on 5. Showed us that land so we can get rid of it. I pay a little more attention to like revealed cards and stuff when I'm not streaming. Tracker is a good one. Tracker actually does a pretty vast amount of work. Transgress. That's also a good one. We have 2 reasonable 5-drops though. He probably takes the Fumigate. He may take the Approach. Could even take the Glimmer. It all depends on what's in his hand. If he's got a Heroic Intervention, for example, there's no chance he would ever take the Fumigate. If he's got a Walking Ballista, maybe another removal spell, there's no chance that he would take the Regal. So he just took the Glimmer. Just fine. Don't really care how many cards that they get. We have 7 answers that can kill this on 2 mana next turn. Alright, so no reason to show him the island. Just keep going back to this. We have the Fumigate to handle the first threat if we need to. Probably we'll just play the Caracal though. Don't want him just to untap and like cast a Gearhulk. That's a Nissa. We don't actually care about the Nissa at all. Don't really care about him drawing cards either. It's kind of weird. He's seen this one. We're just going to try to use the Caracal to stall the game a turn. Maybe even 2. Just killing the tracker and the plant there, and like him still having 5 mana to cast a Gearhulk or something like that, just doesn't really get us a lot of places. If he just attacked on board without changing, I'd block it with all 3 of my creatures. But I mean, he's gonna do something. We just don't know what he's gonna do yet. He's drawn quite a few cards. He's actually 4 cards deeper in his deck right now than we are. So that means he has quite a bit more options. It's a sneaky snake. He could be trying to force us to use the Fumigate, which is fine. We don't actually mind to use the Fumigate here. Alright. Again, gonna block it with just everything. Alright, I guess we're not gonna block it with everything then. He keeps darting into my room and saying hello. Guess I just want to gain the 4 life. They have a transgress or something, that's bad, but we could draw another fumigate. Might have been worth it to just get the plan off the table. They could also have heroic intervention. They have heroic intervention, things get a little more difficult. Alright, not a heroic intervention. I hope that's what the name of the card is, by the way. It's the little 2 green mana card is the card I'm talking about. Just have 3 mana really quickly. Made me think he had some kind of plan, like he was setting this up. But now he's changed his mind. He's tapping his mana differently. Alright, well. We're not dead to what we see. I think that's what the card's called. I could be wrong. Yeah, okay, sweet. I like it when I'm not wrong. And if he doesn't draw a discard spell, we win. He could easily have one, though. And he saw a lot of cards. He's 20 card deeps, but they typically only have 2 to 3 transgresses, so... Like, he's probably not favorited to have one. He also has Lost Legacies, he's probably a favorite to have one, but... Oh, well. Can I get some feedback on my mono red deck? Sure, give us one moment to try to see if we untap and win. Alright, well he's tapped out now, so we know we untapped and win, so we'll pop up the deck. Not going to slow roll our opponent though. We're just going to go ahead and cast this real quick to save time. And we're 3-1, so we've at least locked up a pity chest. A pity chest. Alright, so we go over here. Pop up that. As often as just drawing double approach wins the game, I'm contemplating putting a 4th one in. I'm thinking about taking the 40s out of the main deck, since a lot of the red decks are gone now, and adding like an approach and a 26 land, or like an approach and maybe trying to get in, or maybe an approach and a stasis snare. I don't know, but it's something that I might try for tomorrow. Anyway, so let's look at his deck list before we start the last round. Beaumont Courier, Earthshaker, Gorger. 2 Chandras and 0 Collective Defiance. I am a pretty large fan of Collective Defiance. That doesn't mean I'm right. 22 lands. Oh my. You have 22 lands and you have 2 4-drops in your main deck, and you have a 3rd 4-drop and 5th 6 4-drop and 3 5-drops in your sideboard with only 1 additional land. I think I would want 23 to 24 lands in my main deck. I would definitely add at least 1 more, if not 2 more lands to my main deck. But other than that, everything else looks fairly fine. Yeah, I would definitely at least put 1 more land in the deck. Probably cutting either one of the Shocks or one of the Braids. I've, on a personal level, been a huge fan of the Braids, but I think Oliver too said he likes the flows more. What's up, George? No, we're just checking out Jay Still's deck. Still rain, by the way. Wrong art mountain up here. Come on, man. No, I like it. Oh, he does have the 4 gods too. You're right. My bad. So he's got 6 4-drops in the main deck. Yeah, you definitely need a 23rd land, probably a 24th land. Other than that, everything looks great. Anyway, let's go over here and slam the queue back up. We'll tell the people, again, if you're in the Twitch chat, you can type !decklist. Also, if you're in Twitch, you can go down below, click the link to the Twitter. On the Twitter, all the deck lists I play are there. Every time I go live's there, and there's a link to the YouTube. And if you're on the YouTube, all the deck lists and all the links are in the description. Let's pop this back up. Let's look at the sideboard. The sideboards are what varies the most in these decks. Chandra's Defeat's great. Chandra's a wonderful card out of the sideboard. Cliff of Defiance is great. No, sideboard seems good as well. I love Sand Strangler. I think not enough people play the Sand Strangler, but I'm a pretty big fan of the Sand Strangler. By the way, I'm just curious about just the people in the chat. If I started to stream the Eternal card game would there be any interest in it whatsoever? If you play the Stowscour mages, you should probably take out Village Messengers. Sam Pardee played Village Messengers in the Grand Prix and he top 8'd, I think, and he said that the Village Messengers were very good for him. I've personally played 3 Stowscour mages and like an extra land over the 4 Village Messengers. But I don't know that that's right. I've not tested the Messengers enough. But Sam Pardee is much better than me and he likes the Messengers, so that has to say something to them. Good luck and have fun and praise the sun. So we'll keep. This hand's fine. We got a couple interactive spells, we got some lands, and we got an authority. The hand's not great, but like I said, it's fine. The card draw spell there is exactly what we needed. If he's playing Ramp, we probably lose. If he's playing Teamer, we've got a fairly good shot now. Yeah, I've personally not tested them enough to really know. Like I said, I've liked the Stowscour Mage. I thought the Stowscour Mages were insane, but you know, I err on the caution of what people like Sam Pardee and them say. The Supreme Wheel here is also another great pickup. Hopefully he just has a Rogue Refiner and not a Whirler Virtuoso on this turn, even though Rogue Refiners typically aren't great for me. Oh wait, a third color. Maybe some kind of control deck. Be interesting to see what our opponent's playing now. We're up versus a Brew. Or we're at least, maybe not a Brew, at least something I'm unfamiliar with, which is my favorite time to play Magic when I don't really know what's going on. So we have the Supreme Will here. He didn't tutor for a blue land, so he's probably not a control deck. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and play the farmland. 4-color energy? What's the white spell then? It's not God, it's not Nicobolas. I guess it could be Nahiri? Like Nahiri's reasonable. And then we have Sanctum. No, this is just some kind of brew. It's probably the 4-color ramp deck. I'm not going to cycle this because I still don't know what our opponent's doing, so. Just going to keep making land drops and go on about our day. He could be playing the 4-color Approach to Second Sun deck I saw once, like a Turbo Fog deck. We saw this, so I can go ahead and dismiss that. Still has 7 cards in his hand, though. It's the second blue source now. Tap 3, 4 mana. Bounty of Luxa. So he is like the Turbo Fog deck. or like the 4-color ramp deck or whatever. They play very similar. It could be either. Could be the ramp approach deck. I'm gonna assume Bounty of the Luxa means at least 7 mana kill spells. So I'm assuming it's either Ulamog or approach. Yeah, well, we'll start with the Glimmer. Guess we'll put a Glimmer on top, and we'll put that on bottom. We didn't hit a land. So we go ahead and cycle this one to try to hit a land. Each player draws a card and discards a card. Alright, well that's easy. It helps us make a decision about whether we're going to cycle to Illumination or not too, because I'm going to cycle to Illumination if we don't hit a land. I'm not going to if we do. Alright, well we didn't hit a land, so... Or we did hit a land, so go on rather is what I'm trying to say. The approach mirrors are very awkward. It's typically whoever just plays the first approach wins. There's like so few hard counter spells. Haze of Pollen. So he is the Turbo Fog deck. Just is a skill condition Ulamog, or is a skill condition Approach, or is a skill condition Fevered Visions. Can literally be any of these cards. I think that's worth looking for a counterspell for. So everything but Supreme Will would go on the bottom now. And we didn't get there. Yeah. I've erred on not liking the Chandra, but everybody just tells me I'm wrong. I've loved Collective Defiance into Chandra. One card off. So if we'd cycled last turn, we would have got there. Alright, well, our opponent has 1,000,000 lands now, and we have pretty well no chance to win. I don't think they're too much as long as you play the appropriate amount of lands to hit them. Most of the sideboard plans have you taking out a good majority of those cards as well. So yeah, I'd say we're in pretty rough shape this game. We're definitely getting rid of the Meltdown. That's just easy. Alright, well, we'd like to hit an approach now. Our opponent is cycling another phase. He's on the Turbo Fog deck. Or on the Fog deck. I shouldn't keep saying Turbo Fog. Well, we've drawn over 30 cards and we've not found an approach. Rip. Approach? Still non-approach. Still non-approach. If he is playing Approach of the Second Sons, we're probably not going to win this game. But yeah, the 6/4 drops is one of the reasons I like Collective Defiance over the Chandra, but it's probably just wrong. Can't really counter that. But we can keep a cast out now. Potentially. Sure. I guess we need to keep a couple of these Blessed Alliances just in case, so I'll get rid of a land this time. Fevered Visions. If that's his only kill condition, we're not in that bad a shape. It's probably not his only kill condition. I guess we'll take this, put that on the bottom. We're going to let that resolve. I'm not really worried about taking damage. Just looking for visions now. Or not a visions, but a bottom. Just looking for an approach. Bottom. Alright, so there is an approach. So opponent could just untap and play 2 approaches, I guess, technically. He would have the mana, right? So we know an approach is now 7 cards down. We'll discard just basic island. We now know it's 6 cards down. This deck has performed absolutely wonderful for us. We've been happy at all times. So 6 cards down is our approach. This deck has performed so very well for us. I don't know if they run counter spells. I'm assuming they have some number of counter spells, right? But how many counter spells is the question. We struggle with ramp decks and we struggle with Champion of Wits decks, but for the most part, that's been really our only 2 super bad matches. So the next approach is 6 cards down. I think we'll just try to draw it the natural way. I don't think we're going to mill ourselves here. So now it's 5 cards down. Now it's 4 cards down. Now it's 3 cards down. One moment. Well, I don't think the black-red mid-range deck's even playable. Yeah, I think we're a large favorite. They have so few kill conditions and we have so many answers that it's pretty easy to deck control decks in game 1. Game 2 and 3 is actually a little bit harder. But most of the control decks, and then when I say control decks, I'm not talking about like the black-red Champion of Wit decks and stuff. I'm talking about the just basically the blue-red control, the one that's most traditional. They typically only have 8 ways to deal damage main deck, and it's just so easy to get around 8 ways to deal damage. Alright, well, we're done here. On this turn, anyway. So there's an approach. Go ahead and end turn. Opponent only has 25 cards left in his library, too. Unless he finds a way to kill us fairly soon, we might be able to kill him by just drawing a Rivulet or 2. I think it'll be hard for our opponent to kill us with damage. I won't say impossible, obviously, but I think it'll be hard for them to kill us with damage. Yes, the plan is to deck them game 1. Game 2, you both bring in different amounts of cards. They can be bringing in Dragon Master Outcast, Fing in the Ice, maybe even Sphinx. You're bringing in Cats and Limvala. So like the game 2 and 3 is quite a bit different, but game 1, you're trying to kill them with exactly approach. Or sorry, trying to kill them by exactly milling them. Sorry, I misspoke. So we can pay for one. Alright, so they do have negates main deck, so that's something to think about. But the way this game's going, it's looking like we'll be drawing into our other two. So how many negates do they have? We'll go ahead and pop this off to gain 4 life. And then we're going to discard the Fumigate. Oh, I guess we're not going to discard any. I'm stupid. Not going to draw any more extra cards here. Like, just thinking about milling them. If they don't have another negate, we can try to do the approachy thing. Oh wow, so they have their own approaches. Yeah, the main deck we do try to, or main deck I have 2 authorities. We have 2 more in the sideboard, but alright, well this is good for us. We'll be able to resolve the second authority of the Suns. Alright, so we now know what our opponent's actual kill condition is. And they only have 1 blue mana untapped, so like they can't even have a negate and a dispel. We don't have to worry about that. This match won't be easy though. Like Fevered Visions do a lot of work versus us. The approach to Second Suns are good versus us. They have a million fogs that they can't really sideboard out. They're going to have more counter spells than us. It's probably going to be a hard match to win. I think we played game 1 pretty well though. Even though we had no idea what their kill condition was. So they have a lot of pretty relevant enchantments. They have at least negates. They have a bunch of fogs that they can't really sideboard out, which makes me think our creatures don't do anything. The 40s obviously do nothing. We'll bring in our own negates. Bring in a Dismissal. We'll bring in some Gear Hulks. So that's the totality of our blue spells. The Ever Meltdowns probably aren't good. The Fumigates probably aren't great. So we'll try to bring in some cats, I guess. Even though they'll have answers to the cats, at least like that stops them from drawing on those turns. Alright, so we'll just jam this, see how it works. I don't think I want to bring in the Linvalas. I think the Linvalas is going too far. Alright, so this hand looks terrible, but it can stop a Fevered Visions. So I think we'll keep it. Can also stop a Bounty of Deluxe, I guess. And we're going to be under no quick pressure, so like we'll have turns and turns and turns. So we're currently 3-1 and we're up a game versus another approach deck in the last round. I don't remember what our opponent's record was. Our opponent's record was just 1-0. I have about 25 minutes to finish and potentially still make my Paper Magic event, but I have a lot of work to do before I can get to that Paper Magic event, so I have to see how the rest of this plays out. But yeah, game 1 versus Control. I would tell you to go look at the YouTube videos, but to be quite honestly, I don't remember which day is which day, but like there's a couple of good examples of beating the blue-red deck like that. Thank you for following 199503. I appreciate it. Um, the Blessed are really good. They kill Bristling Hydras. They kill uh, gods. They can kill, but the 4 life that they gain is just such a big buffer versus so many decks. The Stasis Snare is a little bit worse because you get in situations to where like you play an island, you play a land, like they play a land, you play a land, they play a 2-drop. Or sorry, they play a land, you play a land, they play a land, and a 2-drop, you play a land, and then like they're attacking on turn 3 and you don't even have 3 mana in play, or like you can't get their 3-drop on your turn 4. Like say you like bring a come into play tap land or something like that, and you can't hit their 3-drop because you have to play a land to set up for a draw 2. Like having 4 mana on draw 2 is super relevant, and like there's just a lot of situations where you don't always have that land. Alright, well, I don't know what our opponent's doing, but we're just going to slam a cat. And we're going to hope a cat does cat things. I know that didn't come out right, but what I was trying to say is like 3 mana is a heck of a lot more than 2 mana. If we were going to cut any card for a Stasis Snare, it wouldn't even be the Blessed Alliance first, it would be the Effort Meltdown, but again, like 3 mana is just a lot more than 2 mana. It's just a lot more than 2 mana in this deck. And in matches like this, like a Stasis Snare would be absolutely dead, whereas the Blessed Alliance gives us a little bit of insurance versus like a Fevered Visions. Yeah, so we have answers to this. We have our own cast outs, and we have a 3-turn clock in play. So while this card's good versus us, it's not great versus us. I mean, they can't always play around it, right? Like, sometimes they just have to attack. I mean, even if you only get even if they play around it, this deck plays more like a fog deck than it plays like a control deck. So like even when they're playing around it, like you're getting extra turns. We'd like to try to counterspell that if possible, so I'm gonna look and see if I hit a negate. Didn't hit a negate, so that's going to resolve. And that's going to cause us some serious issues on the next turn. Because now they'll resolve their Bounty of Luxa pretty easily. Trying to decide whether it's worth cycling the Censor. I don't think it is. Well, they're going to resolve their 7-drop, which is disappointing to us. So they'll be able to resolve their approach next turn pretty easily, or this turn pretty easily, to be honest. To BH. Alright, well, we don't care about that card. That card doesn't do much in this spot. And we're going to hope we hit some counter spells. Did not hit counter spells. Negate. Negate would be exactly what we want to draw here. Can't really beat a fog. Definitely can't beat 2 fogs. Commit would put that in my hand. We have a Censor, so we just cast our little Censor here and go on about our day. No worries about all the questions. Alright, so we got a 4-1 versus another approach deck that did resolve their Gideon's Intervention. Pop up the deck list and speak a few minutes before I have to run. Remember, if you're in the deck, you can type exclamation mark deck list, or if you're in the Twitch chat, you can type exclamation mark deck list, or go to the links down below and click on my Twitter feed. On my Twitter feed, you see every time I go live and all the deck lists I play, and a link to the YouTube. And on the YouTube channel, you'll find 14 or 15 days of me playing this deck. And also, you'll find, if you're on the YouTube channel, in the description, there's links to all of this stuff. I am not 100% sure on that. I've wavered on 25 and 26 lands a lot, but 25 has felt like the right number. There's less mono red on Moto right now, so we're considering cutting 2 of the approaches from the main deck. And if we cut the 2 approaches, we're gonna, sorry, 40s, not approaches. Derp, slap myself for that. If we do cut the 2 of 40s, we're probably gonna try 26 land. But both Paul Rietzl and Eric Froelich both played 25 lands at the Grand Prix. Dan Ward played 25 lands at the Grand Prix that he got 10th in. So I'm assuming 25 lands is correct, but it may not be. The way this deck most commonly loses is when you're like on your turn 3 or whatever, and you have to cycle something to find your 4th land drop. Like, it not hitting its lands is how it most commonly loses. Can't fire on Effer, let me entire. Sure. Can't fire on Effer, let me entire. There you go. But yeah, no, you can ask all the questions you want. That's what the stream's for. I try to be as informative as I possibly can be. All of the cards in this particular build of the deck have felt pretty good. Like, we've tried Immolating Glare, we didn't like it. We tried some of the White Hours, we didn't like them. We've tried a couple of different counter spells in the sideboard we've not liked. Cards that I've not tried, I have, but like, have kind of been prejudiced towards, but I should probably try. I should probably try them at some point, just so we know. I've not tried any Stasis Snares yet. I've not tried any of the Little Gideon yet, though a lot of people tell me the Little Gideon's great. And I've not tried extra discard spells in the sideboard. Again, the matches that this deck has the most trouble with are ramp, because like, even if you counterspell every ramp spell, like, ramp decks have 25 to 26 lands of their own, and some of their ramps, or some of their lands produce 2 mana, and you have to resolve a 7 mana sorcery, and you have to resolve it twice to win. So like, say you have a counterspell, say you have a counterspell, say you have a counterspell, and you counterspell Beneath the Sands, their Hour of Promise, even their World Breaker. Like, it doesn't matter, because they still are keeping up with you land for land, they're stopping you from playing your draw 2s, and they're killing your land. And when they get to the point of the game where they're like casting Ulamogs and killing 2 of your lands, it makes it incredibly hard for you to ever even resolve an approach, much less beat the Ulam. I mean, beating the Ulamog on board is not that hard. You have 4 cast outs and you have 4 Blessed Alliances. Beating a World Breaker is not that hard. You have cast outs, you have Blessed Alliances, you have Effer meltdowns to make it like 20 turns to kill you. The problem is that they just hit land drop, hit land drop, hit land drop, then start killing your lands, and you have problems having 7 mana to even resolve your kill spell. And the sideboard plan doesn't work in the same sense, because like, they're leaving in all their big Chandras and things of that nature, so like, just slamming a cat on 5 doesn't really work a lot if they're just untapping, playing a Chandra, killing my cat, and still having loyalty on the Chandra. So like both Daniel and Total. By the way, Total has a great YouTube channel and a great stream. I highly suggest checking it out. But Gideon's one card that I've not tested, and I really need to test. The Little Gideon. Daniel Fortner got second in an MTGO PTQ a couple of weeks ago, and he had Big Gideon and he had Spell Queller in the sideboard, and he said they were just both mediocre. Like, neither of them were particularly good. So like, I don't want to play Big Gideon and I don't want to play Spell Queller. But yeah, appreciate you enjoying the access. Big Jace is another card that I've not really tried, but Big Jace has the same has some of the same issues. Like, I don't really want to be tapping 5 mana Like, you generally always need to cast a Fumigate on that turn, and you generally always need to cast, like, a card draw spell on turn 6. So, like, I don't know how many games I'm slipping into Jace that it's good versus. Obviously, it's going to be good versus, like, all the control decks and stuff like that, but, like, you can't just go 5 mana slam Jace versus a control deck. They're going to have a Supreme Will or a Disallow or a Censor or something. And, like, if I'm spending my 5 mana versus Teamer or Mono Red or Mardu or Black Green or anything else, if I'm spending 5 mana on a 5 mana sorcery Jace, I'm probably just dying to their board, or they're probably resolving even a better Planeswalker. Um, but the Gideon makes sense. The Gideon comes down before the draw twos. The draw twos and having mana on your draw twos are the most important. The one thing to keep in mind about this deck is, like, even Gabriel Nassif the other day wrote an article and talked about how he didn't like this deck when he was talking about, like, your it's on channelfireball.com if you want to go read it, but he's talking about a guide to control decks in standard. Like, sure, this deck is technically classified as a control deck, but this deck plays more like a fog deck. Yeah. I mean, if you're a control player, this deck's probably not the deck for you. You probably want to look into the blue-black Scarab God control deck. Scarab God is an absurdly good threat. That deck, by the way, crushes this deck. I like this deck better versus the field. I think this deck is favored versus Teamer. In post sideboard games, sometimes they'll draw 2 negates in, like, the top 15 or 20 cards, and you'll lose. But, you know, like, typical games, you beat Teamer, you beat Black Green, and you beat Zombies, which are 3 of the 4 most popular decks in the meta, which is why I like this deck. I personally think I'm favored versus Mono Red, but it may just be the play skill of players. Rudy, Sam Pardee, and quite a few of other people and other streamers that I respect say this deck loses really hard to Mono Red. Apparently, Rudy Briska, who is also a streamer, by the way, and has a pretty good stream himself, he said he tested with Mark Herbowitz quite a lot, and, like, the red deck just crushed. But so, like, in a national setting or, like, a Grand Prix setting, there's going to be a whole lot more red decks. So I need to do a little bit more testing. His blue red, yeah, I don't like his changes to his blue red approach deck. Yeah, he 5-0'd on his Channel Fireball stream, but, like, oh, and by the way, there's no more Magic today. We 4-1 the league, so I'm just talking a little bit before we go. But he turned the deck into a control deck, and, like I said, I always view this deck as a fog deck. This deck's just a fog deck to me. So, like, um, just buying. All you want to do is, like, stall a little longer, stall a little longer, stall a little longer, stall a little longer. However you can do it, and, like, I don't like the Nahiris and stuff like that in his deck. I don't like the big Jason stuff in his deck. I feel like his deck is significantly worse versus red than this deck. Now, don't get me wrong, this deck isn't great versus red, but, like, I think it's a slight favorite versus red. I think I'm, like, 55 to 60%, probably closer to 55. Um, the 4 cats out of the sideboard. A lot of people never respected this card, but this is the best card in the deck by a lot. I've won more cards. I've won as many games with this card as I have with this card. Gabriel Nassif, even on stream, once called this the White Scarab God. Like, this card is just so good. Like, if you are going to play blue white approach or a blue white red approach or any type of blue control deck that can produce double white early, play 4 Regal Caracols. That's the one advice I can give anybody. Just play 4 Regal Caracols. Unfortunately, they can beat a 40, which is a problem. Yeah, you did tell me you played the one farm market. I read it, and I'm a little hesitant to play it. I think it's better than a stasis snare. I think it's better than an immolating glare, but I'm not exactly sure if it's better than the Effer Meltdown. That's something else that we may try tomorrow. We might try that tomorrow. Yeah, the unsummons used to be good, but Daniel Fortney tried these authorities in the main deck, and it just proved to be better. That's fair. I mean, we'll have to give it a try. We'll probably try it tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, that's it for me for today. I appreciate it. I appreciate people talking. I appreciate the new follower. I appreciate my subscriber. Thank you very much, Anarif, for the subscription. I apologize for butchering your name. Anyway, it is 4:52. I needed to get out of here at 5, so I'm going to go ahead and bounce and see if I have enough time to find paper cards for a local modern event. And we're going to host a Candio because there's nobody else online that I see right now. Man, I cannot type. Thanks, Toto. Appreciate it. But yeah, today was another 4-1, which was nice. Anyway, later, everybody.